So here we are, talking to a camera again. It's been a week. I've been thinking a lot about one question recently. Who are we if we're not being seen by others? What kind of world this would be if we truly felt appreciated for who we really are? You know, when I was in my 20s, it's been a while, I felt so much pressure to accomplish like all my creative dreams and goals by the time I turn 30. Seems like kind of funny to me right now, but like back then I felt like a really big pressure. Yeah, because also it was like what I knew from the movies and from television, like from my heroes and heroines, and they all seemed to have realized themselves before they were 30, or they died at 27. Which is not funny actually, but yeah, that's the image I had in my head. So I felt really disappointed when I reached my 30th birthday and I realized, oh, okay, I didn't achieve anything I had dreamt of, actually. So anyway, I just remember in one of my seminars at Media Art School, there was a professor that introduced us to a concept by Michel Foucault. Everyone is a transmitter. Everyone is a broadcaster. And YouTube didn't exist back then. And sometimes I ask myself, you know, if I could have taken a peek into the future, I probably would have been totally overwhelmed by a medium that is so accessible to everyone. And I probably would have asked myself, do we really need that? I mean, a space where everyone can share bits and pieces of their reality, of their personal lives. And because the world is already so full of information, I thought back then, yeah, which is kind of funny right now. So why do we need the voices and stories of a dozen random people? I mean, needless to say that I absolutely loved YouTube when it came along, and especially the glimpses that, you know, I got like into people's everyday lives. It was something I didn't know from television, because we had like terrible reality shows. Oh God, like, I don't know. I don't even want to remember Big Brother or what was there, like something with Paris Hilton. I don't know. Anyway, so it was like pretty toxic stuff, but it was all like kind of scripted, you know, and kind of trying to imitate real life. But you didn't have this thing called vlogs, which we have today. And of course, there's two sides to every coin. Yeah, we didn't have vlogs, so we didn't have like people sharing mundane moments of their lives. And when I first saw that, I totally loved it because I felt so connected, and I still do, because suddenly I could like feel the value of my own little seemingly boring life, you know, where I didn't seem to have achieved much. And suddenly seeing all these different realities and kind of diversifying, it felt really reassuring and sort of, it made me feel connected. And you know, I never felt drawn to the big influencers anyway, who lived a lifestyle I couldn't afford. But the little ones, you know, who shared these magic moments of the seemingly little things, yeah, they just ignited something in me, and still do. And because they sparked a desire within me that I wanted to create too. And after like a long creative blog I was in, it felt really like a breath of fresh air. But I was like more in the consumer observer position, kind of watching and thinking, oh my God, if I could just do something like that. I felt this desire, but I felt so scared. I felt so unsure. And I was imagining like all the little things I could do, what I could film, and I had so many ideas for stories and for everything what I wanted to tell, but something was holding me back, like big time. And maybe you know that feeling. I remember it was in the summer of 2023, I think, when I made the decision to open a YouTube channel. And I was embarrassed to talk about it, really. I was so scared of what people might think. You know, how they would look at my channel if they saw my channel and me talking to myself about things I didn't really even feel so sure about, like with no subscribers, just talking to myself without anyone watching me. It just felt unsettling. And that fear of judgment, it really blocked me for several months, because back in summer 2023, I just could have started. Now I see it. I could have just started off, but something was holding me back. So what I did was really, I took that time to brace myself. Like the way I am, I'm also a very structured person. I developed a schedule. I practiced in front of a camera because if I'm like on YouTube now, I have to talk like this and like that, and I have to look a certain way, and my living room has to be tidy, and all things I don't care about anymore. So I just had a very specific idea of how I wanted to present myself, even if there was no audience yet. The only thing that was there was my inner judge. So the more I try to understand that part within me, that inner judge, which is a universal energy, you probably know it yourself. It's like a collective energy. I try to understand where it comes from and what its actual intention was. The more I try to understand that, the more I realized I was actually not afraid of being seen. And you're probably also not afraid of being seen, if you think that. What I was afraid of was I was afraid of not being seen for who I truly am. So, yeah, when I finally set a deadline for myself to post my first video on the 1st of December 2023, there was no way back. So it was just important I set that deadline for myself. And after I uploaded my first video, which is like a very personal one, maybe one of my most personal videos, honestly telling you, I wanted to bury my head in the ground. I just, like a little child, I just didn't, oh my God, I didn't want to be seen. So I felt so scared and vulnerable. And I can remember this dream I had like right the night after I posted, where like a person threatened to kill me. So that's how deep kind of my survival instinct went, just to tell you. Because I had just shared something so deep and personal and vulnerable, and I just expected the worst. And what I didn't understand back then was how the YouTube algorithm works. And that's a very special thing about YouTube as a medium. What I know now, after like 1.5 years of mostly consistent posting, is this: the energy you channel here literally tends to attract the same energy, in at least most of the time. And what I mean is, if you make yourself vulnerable and you don't do it because you expect anything back, you do it out of the desire to express yourself, out of like a creative generosity, just to express yourself, because it's your right to take up space, to be yourself, to tell your story, to own your story. If you do that, your energy will be received by the people who resonate with it. I can attest to that. It's really this principle where attention goes, energy flows, or where focus goes, energy flows. So many people connect the numbers on YouTube to the value of their content, or worse, their own value. And I mean, this doesn't only go for YouTube. If you're a painter, maybe you're connecting your value to the amount of money like you're receiving for a painting, how many paintings someone buys, or any way you can. I mean, just apply that to any kind of area of your life. Trying to shape your creative expression in a way that can fit into a certain mold or a certain niche, how you call it on YouTube, niching down, that can really lead to a struggle. And the truth is, I mean, you can be watched by hundreds, thousands, millions of people, but still not feel seen. But sometimes it just takes one person that truly sees you for who you are, even if it's yourself. And that's just the greatest treasure, honestly. Because that's, something I'm learning on YouTube over and over again. I started with barely anyone watching or commenting. Like at first it felt really disheartening and discouraging because I felt like I just was kind of talking to myself like in an echo chamber. And but then there was this shift within me. I'm just going to do it for myself. I am going to do it for that little person within me who wants to take up space like a tree, like growing in a forest alongside others. And I mean, some trees are tall, some are small, some are pines, some are oaks. Makes me think of Harold and Maude right now, for some reason anyway. But they are all equally worthy, with all their differences and all their uniqueness. And they all deserve to be there. They all deserve to take up space, to exist, to grow. And I know that some of you also have channels. And some of you also are thinking about opening a channel. And, I just want to encourage you, like from the bottom of my heart, just go for it, really. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to express yourself, to take up space, to be messy, to be yourself. I recently heard that sentence somewhere, which I found very beautiful. Your story is your art, and owning your story is a creative act. And no matter what anyone says, life is too short. Anyway, when my sister left this world, or shortly before she did, this spring, she said something like, be light and be generous and leave your unique traces in this world and in people's hearts. And remember that even the tiniest creation can create a big ripple effect. Butterfly effect. That's her earrings, by the way. So I'm so glad I filmed these little time capsules with my sister. I just have to say that. Also thanks to YouTube and creating here. Something like a treasure, like a memory archive.
Auf die Heilung.
I just want to say, what is the use of creating big art, whatever that means, for everyone to see, if your heart isn't truly in it? The heart doesn't know big or small. The heart only knows true, right? If I would offer just some keys from what I've learned, it would be, do it for yourself first. Don't shrink yourself for fear or judgment. Try to be kind to the part within you that's scared. Don't try to push yourself out of a comfort zone. Rather, try to extend your comfort zone slowly, bit by bit, and acknowledge your need for safety, which is also comfort. Try to really understand that part within you that's trying to protect your tenderness and your sweet and pure and tender, authentic core, because it's a gift. So before I close, I want to share something with you, a little announcement that feels both a little vulnerable but also meaningful. I finally opened a Patreon. Because some of you asked me how they could support my work, and I'm so deeply touched by that and so grateful. So on my Patreon, I'll be posting personal podcasts about creativity, unconditional creativity, meditations, and creative prompts, maybe soul notes. I'm not sure yet, but just reflections that help you connect with your own voice and your story and your creative fire. I don't want to build a fan base, but a nurturing community, a space where everyone is invited to create, to listen, to unfold, not just to watch, but just to be and to express themselves. So that's about it. It was an important topic for me, something that's been on my mind for a long time. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for allowing me to just be myself. I appreciate you so much, and I hope to see you very soon.